Hey y'all, hey. Guess what we doing today? It's a beautiful day in the ATL and we're getting out. I was trying to take a couple of tests, and you guys gotta excuse my mask. The pollen here in Georgia is so heavy. It's not really heavy, but I already had a slight headache, and so I just felt like it was best if I put on a mask instead of coming out here and trying to walk without it. But I wanted to come on for a few moments and chat with you guys. And just so you'll know, since those of you that are joining my YouTube channel, I started this channel, maybe a month or so ago, maybe 2 months, if that. And I typically would do Facebook Live, and I've been doing them for years prior to doing this. And I would usually do it on my walks. And that's how I came up with meditations with Marini, because I would usually do a morning meditation while I was out walking, and it would just be in general. But as of now, it's going to be for those of us that are formerly married, looking to get married, dating, and life after divorce. Like, what are we doing? So one of the things that I wanted to ask you guys since I was out here is, what are you doing to prepare your health for your relationship? If we are thinking about those of us that are 40, 50, 60, that's coming into that age group where it takes us a minute to get out the bed. You don't just hop up no more like you used to. Cat Williams does a whole set about him turning 50 or something like that, and how he used to tease his uncle. And I actually found that to be very funny. He's one of my favorite comedians. I think that he's very thought-provoking. He has a way of making real stuff funny, when sometimes it's really not funny. So, how y'all doing? Great. So when y'all on the walk with me, y'all get a chance to experience all that. My neighbors, people that I pass through. I have not been out walking in a while, and for two reasons. One, because it was so cold. Because typically I will still walk if it's cool, but not necessarily when it gets cold. And even like today, I had gone back in the house and put on a jacket. But then after I got out here and started walking, I said, oh no, I'm not gonna be able to keep that jacket on. So I had to put the jacket around the hip. Y'all remember the old school? Put the jacket on the hip. But that's what I wanted to ask you guys. Like, what are you doing to assist with your health? If you are preparing for relationship, and with us being in this age bracket, this is where a lot of people have a lot of health issues. And I know I shared it on my Facebook page, but on this page I may have shared that a few years ago and it was during the time that I was dealing with my marriage and the divorce. I ended up having to wear a heart monitor. I was having some heart issues, and they couldn't figure out what was going on with me, because I'm pretty healthy, I'm pretty active, but I would be just like, I could be walking just like I'm walking now, on a very simple walk, nothing stressful, and when I tell you, my heart would just take off, and it would be beating like 240 beats a minute, and it would stay that way for a while. Like literally one time, by the time I got to the doctor's office, when they put that EKG on me, the doctor came in immediately. And you guys know, when you go to like urgent care or something, the doctor don't come in for a while. They're waiting. Like, the doctor came right in. So I knew something was wrong. And they were like, how long has your heart been beating like this? And they were saying that, I was basically at stroke level. And I was like, well, I don't feel stressed or anything like that. And they did find out that I had some type of electronic shock that was going on. I learned a lot about the heart during that time, that we have a plumbing side and we have an electrical side. And for me, the electrical side had an extra circuit that was going off. And, I'll have to say that God healed me from that, because when they went in to do the procedure, and they told me what they were going to have to do and how they were going to do it. And when they went in to do the procedure, my heart regulated, and it would not do what it needed it to do. even with the medication that was supposed to make it do it. And so I don't know, you know, at that time I believe that God was trying to just tell me that I had heart issues, as far as, you know, just going through the divorce and dealing with different obstacles. And I'm kind of looking, because I know where the dogs are in my community. I got my little stick. So in my mind, I'm like, let me just in case they got their little dogs out. I don't feel like running from nobody today. And I do not want to give y'all no laughter online where y'all see me having to run from a dog. But mainly, I just wanted to ask you, what are you guys doing for your health? You know, if you're looking at relationships while you're waiting on your mate, what are you doing to prepare yourself for when your mate comes? There are many things that I know that we could be doing. Many of us need to do some spring cleaning. Some of us might need to do some deep cleaning. You know, once or twice a year, I have my kids to go through the house and just clean the baseboards and things like that. Places that we don't really think about, but we get dust and dirt in those areas. And just like we have to go in and clean out in the natural, sometimes we need to clean out our bodies. Sometimes we need to clean out our spirit, man. Like, what are you watching on TV? What things are you allowing into your personal space that is keeping you from getting prepared for what your mate would need? And I'll share this with you ladies. Since I'm mainly talking to ladies, I do see that the algorithms are showing that men have begun to watch my channel more as well. But one of the things that I want to ask you is, like, are you watching things that are bringing about some type of negativity to your spirit? Sometimes we do things that are indirectly, and they are directly affecting us. And I want to tell you about me. This just me. I can't say for nobody else, but I usually just try to watch what I'm letting go into my spirit, what's going into my ears. Now, every now and then, you know, I love music, and to be honest with you, every now and then I just gonna get some ratchet music and just put it on and just enjoy myself. If I'm cleaning the house, ain't no telling what y'all might come in and it's on. You know, now if my kids are there, I'm not gonna do it as much with them. But if they come in my bedroom, you know, I might either have some smooth R&B playing. Sometimes I have country. Sometimes I got my gospel. But you know, every now and then I just pull out something and just have a good time, like back in the day. But one of the things that I remember is I used to watch The Housewives. And I used to watch them because I just felt like it was just something good to do. I thought that it was a good show. Initially, when reality shows came out, they were not like what they are now. When reality shows came out, they really were, I think, back in the 80s, when they first came out, I think that they were really just showing the life of those people. But I think that the ratings became more glorified when people began to fight and, you know, cussing one another out and acting up. And I remember watching The Housewives one time, and I remember saying that me and my girlfriends don't argue like that when we get together. We don't act like that. You know, this is not a true representation of the type of woman that I am. Y'all, that's a bird. Flew right there in front of me. And so one day I was just watching it, and I think they got into an argument at the restaurant and got to fighting. And in my mind, I was thinking to myself, now these women got all kind of money, or so they look like it. Let's just say they look like money, because from my understanding, a lot of them don't really have the money that they portray to have. But they got this kind of money. They're beautiful. They're a representation of what most people are looking to try to acquire or become. And then they are in some of the top restaurants fighting in high heels. You got on red bottoms and you turning over tables. And so in my mind, I just couldn't. That day, I'll never forget. I want to say it was a Sunday evening, and I might have been folding clothes or something. And I remember just saying, turn that TV off. Like, just shut that down. And I have not gone back and seen it. Every now and then I'll get a glimpse of something, but I don't even know who the characters are on there anymore. But my point is that what are you putting in and what are you doing to prepare yourself for your mate? If you are watching that kind of foolishness and you are participating in that mindset, especially in this age bracket, then there's a problem. And I'm not saying that you're a problem. I'm saying that there's a problem that you might need to look at in your life if you want to make some levels of improvement. I don't, y'all know I talk to men, and so I was, one guy I was talking to recently, he was saying that, some of the things that go on with his friend, men not gonna really complain about certain things unless they have a safe relationship with you to have that conversation. If they don't feel safe that they can have that conversation, they're not gonna have it with you. If they feel like you're gonna pop off and you're gonna turn into the gorilla, they're not gonna have it. They'll just tolerate it. And the thing is, you don't want to go into a relationship just tolerating things. Nobody at this age wants to do that. I don't want a man that is going to tolerate me. I want one that's going to celebrate me. I want one that's going to be happy to come home to all this silliness. I want one that on a Sunday like this, and it's beautiful outside, if he said, babe, let's go for a walk, or, let's go down to the park. Sometimes I go down to the park, but my community has sidewalks, and to me, I just can get the same thing done if I'm right here. And on days like today where I'm trying to take final exams and I really just came out here to debrief in between one test and getting ready to go into another, I needed to decompress. And so what are the things that you would like to do? So for instance, if I finished with my test tonight and if I had a mate, one of the things that I might want to do is maybe go have a glass of wine, or I really, if I don't think I'm going to finish in time to go to one of my spots, but I really probably would want to go and shoot a couple of games of pool. And that's just because coming out of this weekend with these assignments that I had, it would just help me to just kind of relax, to decompress, and just fall into a place where I know the next few weeks I don't have any assignments. But then I got to kick in gear for other things, because when you're in school and you're doing things like this, other things typically are going without care. So I'm washing clothes right now. My sons were helping me with that. Like my youngest son, he just came and said, Mom, what you want to put those on? I'll put them in. So I noticed he had put my clothes in the washing machine, and when I was getting ready to leave out, he had already put them in the dryer. So, I'll be able to kind of concentrate just on my assignments today, and then, look at some things that I could do for me. And so I thought getting out and taking me a walk. I love to walk. I love to walk and think. I love to walk and plan. I love to walk and hear what God is saying. And so even if you can't go to the gym, you could do little things like just take a walk down your neighborhood. Just go around and actually just make sure that you're doing some things that are helping to better yourself. Because as we are getting older, you don't want to be in a situation with someone that's not as healthy as you are, or does not have a desire to get there, because that's a key factor. There are some people who want to get there and they just don't know how they're going to do it. And then there's others that are not even thinking about it at all. And sometimes people won't tell you that that's why they won't date you or why they won't go out with you. But just think about the things that you can do while you're in your waiting season to self-improve, to make things better for yourself. And set a goal. If you want to get to 10,000 steps, I typically was walking 10,000 steps before the winter, but I didn't get there overnight. I started out and I set a goal of 1,000 steps. And then I pushed myself to 2. Then I pushed myself to 3, on up till I got to 10,000 steps per day. So just take a moment and think about it. It's so quiet, y'all. It's so serene. And I'm going to take the rest of this time. I've been on here now about 15 minutes. So That's going to give me about, by the time I finish, about a 40-minute walk. And once I come off with you guys, I'll probably pick up my pace just to give me a little bit of cardio. But just thinking about what would my people like to do to improve themselves and make sure that they are prepared for when their mate comes. So what I need for you guys to do is jump in the comments and give me some feedback. And then I would love for you to do what? I want you to click like. Then I want you to share it with a friend. And then I would love for you to subscribe. So if I don't chat to you with you guys, I'm thinking about taking tomorrow and doing a personal fast. Just because prophetically tomorrow is a day that came up for something. I'm going to turn around. And so I may not be on tomorrow, but I might be back in a couple of days. And what I might do is just gonna do y'all a video tonight, and that way y'all will have it. They're doing some road work over here by my house, so they're putting up these new poles, and it's been a lot of changes going on for the growth that's happening here. But anyway, I just want to know, what do you guys think about that? And then you guys go back and look at my video where it's a couple of days ago, and I had on like the black and white stripes, and I was asking you guys about how interested would you be if there was a community where you could go and possibly meet people, do like a 1-minute video about yourself, tell something about yourself, and possibly have the opportunity to meet up with Christians and like-minded people that have a mindset of dating and getting married. So it might not be a whole lot of people in there, but what I want to know is, would you all be interested in a community such as that? What I found is that many of the communities, they may have the connectivity, but they don't have the ability for you to post a video. They might have information that is given to you, but they don't have the ability for you to actually post a video. And I think that I would be interested in keeping the videos somewhere between 30 seconds and 1 minute. And then like an introduction. And then like later on, if you wanted to come back and ask a question, just like something similar to this, where you would ask, you know, what are you doing for your health? What things are you doing as you prepare for your mate? And then we just have a community where we kind of talk about that for those that are 50 and above. So if that's something you think you might be interested in, give me a call. Not a call, give me a click. You know, click, click, click. Where them clicks at? Where them shares at? That's what I need y'all to do. Where them subscribes at? All right, y'all. Have a good day. Bye.